Namaskar, good evening to the viewers of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation, celebrating our 100 years of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji through our episode known as Reflections. Today it is our 54th episode. Let me remind you, friends, 2nd October, a day of celebration due to the birth anniversary of two important personalities in of our nation. First, father of our nation, Shri Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. It is his 151st birthday, and our ex-Prime Minister, Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri ji, his 117th birthday. Now, today, in our session, we'll be discussing and sharing her memories of Pandit ji, is Miss Sujata Banerjee. She is one of the most important and respected Kathak artists of UK, a choreographer, performer, teacher, mentor, and educator. She set up her own dance company in UK in 1985 and created many innovative projects while remaining deeply rooted in the Kathak style. And she is Ms. Sujata Banerjee on behalf of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation. I welcome Ms. Sujata Banerjee. Didi, namaskar, pranam.
Hello, থাকো কেমন আছো?
Hello, nice to see you, Didi. And to talk to Sujata Di, we are having with us senior disciple of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji, Gaurav Mazumdar Dada. So I welcome Gaurav Mazumdar Dada.
Nabarun, namaste.
Dada, namaste, pranam.
Ashirwad. Sujata di, কেমন আছো?
হ্যালো, একদম ঠিক।
So good to see you and know from Facebook and the social media that you're so busy even in this period of lockdown and corona crisis and everything.
Well, we have to carry on.
Yes, and
we cannot let corona take over our life.
And that has been your trademark. Keep going, not stop. So, to begin this conversation today, I had two questions since many days. Since many days I've been thinking and I'm dying to know two most important questions. What did you cook today? And how much time did it take for you to prepare the wonderful meal you made?
Didi, as usual, naughty Gaurav Da, asking you a question.
But how come you have been thinking about this for last few days? What I cooked about few days back was very different than what I cooked today.
Dada ফাঁসিয়ে দিয়েছে Didi.
He is frozen. Well, we do bring some frozen fish. So is he here or he's gone?
He is here. No, he is frozen. There's network issue, I think. There was a network issue. He will reconnect once again, Didi.
No problem. So this is your 54th session,
Yeah,
Nabarun.
54th episode, Didi. Yeah, Dada is here. One second.
Sorry, I didn't get your answer, Didi.
I said that, like you mentioned that last few days you have been thinking what I have cooked. But if I had cooked something about 4 days back when you started thinking, then it's probably not relevant today.
No, it is relevant because today especially I've been thinking, my God, she must have got up.
Especially.
Because I knew I was going to meet you and I'm going to ask you this question. So,
okay. But it happens so. These days, actually, I'm not interested in cooking. It's very surprising. I get ready to cook, and then I said, I can't be bothered. So I leave halfway, or I improvise, do something. But today, actually, funnily enough, I did cook. And I cooked very quickly. I had 4 meetings already today from the morning on Zoom. So I cooked in between. I went shopping in between the meeting. And then in between one meeting, I went shopping to get some of the ingredients. And then in between another 2 meetings, I went and cooked. And in between another meeting, I had to taste it what I cooked.
It's nothing new, nothing new. That's wonderful.
So,
That's how I have always known you, Sujatadi, that you have multitasked beautifully. And I remember, I'll never forget, especially that one day when I was driving from Luton and I was going home, and it was, I think, almost 9 o'clock. And you were returning from Harrow from your class, and you just said, just come over. I said, no, I'll go home because, no, Esho na ranna. I said, bolo ki ache, what have you cooked, then I'll come. She says, no, I've not cooked anything, I'll go home and cook. And by the time I drove, it took about 45 minutes. You had just cooked a feast. So it's absolutely, and in between, of course, your classes and your dancing and your going to the gym and so much. So I think that brings me to the point that why Guruji liked you so much. He thought you were special, because I think Guruji was quite a person like that who loved doing so many things. So let's start with your journey with Chinnamma, with Guruji, and with both of them. How did it all begin?
well, I met Sukanya here in London. It was 84, yeah, beginning of 85. Anushka was just maybe 2.5, and so on. And so I just, from a distance, we just said hello to each other and so on. And then in 85, Guruji came here to play, and Kumarda came to play with him. So, and obviously Kumarda's family and we were like from, childhood friends and so on. So he called, like when he came to London, he called. And obviously I was very happy. And then I came to, with a friend, I was in Cambridge at that time. So I came to see him, drove all the way from Cambridge to Nishidda's house in Battersea, near Clapham. And then he said, you want to come to the concert? Is Greenwich Town Hall, a couple of days later or maybe a week later. And I said, yes. I mean, as a child, I went to listen to Guruji, but in a whole night concert with my Mashi, but it's like in London listening to him again. And I just had come like 2-3 years before that. And I went and I met him, but I was... I didn't spend a lot of time because I was driving back to Cambridge again that evening. So I went, and then there was another concert, and I came. It was in Barbican the same year. And then I met, and then somehow he had a big, deep interest in, or some kind of tan, what you say, like a connection with Bengalis, right? Whether it's the connection through the food, whether it's connection through the city, whether it's connection through petta bhalo nei, whatever the common factor.
Tagore,
Tagore.
Durga Pujo.
So immediately we had a lot to talk about, and we kind of connected. And then I didn't know with Sukanya's relationship and so on, but I just met very briefly Guruji, and but I then gradually came to know that Sukanya and Guruji, and then obviously it just became stronger. And I'm a very strange kind of relation because, he is God to us. He is just beyond what is God? What is beyond our understanding is God, right? He is beyond that understanding. So, but again, I was a friend. I'm a friend, I'm being a friend of Sukanya, being a friend. So I could do all the, silly jokes and funny things, but yet when it came to music or dance, I will be very quiet, like a very, very junior, very nobody in there, So that's how I gradually got to know him. And I remember how, Pandit Ravi Shankar is like a name, which is like you met Pandit Ravi Shankar. It's like beyond
Belief.
beyond belief. Like if you do a lot of puja, in your puja, you saw a dream of Krishna. It may be still because you're doing a lot of puja and the Krishna one day said, chalo, I'll give a little darshan. But here, for me to meet Guruji, who was like a superstar. So it was like really something. And one day I remember he called in my house, and I was in the kitchen, and Ashish picked up the phone, and he goes, can I speak to Sujata? And then so Ashish asked, Ashish is my ex-husband, as you probably gathered, who is calling? He said, Ravi Shankar. Okay. So he comes, kapte, like he was shaking, like somebody called and saying, Ravi Shankar. And then I picked up the phone and I said, hello. I said, oh, Guruji, you said Ravi Shankar. And he said, that's my name. If he's saying, who is calling? What am I supposed to say? That's my name. Ravi Shankar. It's happened to be my name. What else can I say? So, which is true. Like, it's almost like you think, like, how can somebody like him call, I'm such and such, right? Because he's such a... So it was really, we have a lot of fun memories. You saw one of the pictures. They would come to my place, and all the different things we will cook and eating, and he's even serving sometimes. Okay, let me do something. So there were a lot of fun moments, and I also feel I'm really blessed and lucky. There are so many people who would be dying to be near him. I don't know what punya I have done that I have known him so close. I've known Maharaji from so close. It's like, I think some kind of blessing. I'm really lucky. And like on a Guru Purnima day, I remember in London, when probably the whole world is trying to get hold of Guruji. And there was nobody. And I was sitting there with him. He said, Acha tali lagao, tehai bolo. It's like, who gets this opportunity? It's like, I'm very, very lucky without even being a student or being like, no way I could reach to him. And then yet I was quite able to be quite close to the family and to him. So, yeah.
You have seen many facets of him. You have seen him as a human being, as a guru, as a performer, as a composer. Most important, I think, his sense of discipline. I'll just give you some. Uh, I want to hear some stories from you because you have such wonderful stories. Please tell us about how disciplined he was. How important was it for him to have his walk or to do his practice? Because you have seen it and you have told us.
Yeah. I if I have to think somebody or something you have seen who just inspires you completely from all sides of it, it's him. Because his discipline, and musically where he was, yet his humanness of it, he would like silly jokes. He would be interested in food. He would be interested to know what others are doing. He is interested to, there is a gossip, or there is a joke, or there is sports, and there is politics. There is like, he's very alive, like he's interested in everything, That is something, I think, quite extraordinary, that he is just totally, the godliness is there, but yet there is a very humanness which is you can reach to, you can relate to. When it's too godliness, sometimes you cannot relate to, right? But when there is a human connection, I'll tell you one, and it has become my mantra, and I tell my students, and I see, it's not that I tell students because he said it, but I understand the deep philosophy behind it, and I understand the deep scientific philosophy behind it, right? So once Anushka, it was Anushka's performance in Queen Elizabeth Hall, and I can't remember the year, but Guruji actually didn't go to that concert, for maybe he wasn't well or something, I can't remember, and they were staying in Maidaville. And the next day, I went. And so Anushka was leaving to go away, because that was the last of the concert or something. She was going away on a break, on a holiday or something. And Sukanya was busy seeing her off. And then I said, oh, I arrived. And I said, oh, that was very nice, this, that. And then Sukanya was seeing Anushka off. And Guruji said, oh, come and sit here. And how was it yesterday? And I said, how was it yesterday? He goes, and I said, very good. I remember she played Purvi, and I said, oh, the alap was, good, and this, that. And he stopped and he goes, has she improved? Okay. He asked me, has she improved? And I said, yes, she has improved. She was able to do this, that. And then he looked away, and it seemed like, and he said, it is very, very important to improve. Okay. Improving every day is very important. And when he said that, it's not that he's just telling me Gyan. He's telling himself, like in his eyes is like, it's very, very important to improve every day, as if he's also telling himself. Okay. And he, all his life, he told Sukanya, I love you today more than yesterday and less than tomorrow. Like, you are improving. Okay. So the sense of that improvement, and when you think about it, when you do something every day disciplined, you're bound to improve without, even if you don't want to improve, the logic of it, if you do something, somebody will improve in 3 days, somebody will improve in 30 days, but they're bound to improve. And he maintained that, and that is extraordinary. When just before he passed away, like few months before when I went, he was on oxygen, and he is walking with this thing cable, and he will pull it and he will walk. Like, as soon as I would arrive, he said, I've saved this picture, this movie, this CD, we're going to watch. You're going to like this one. We will be watching the movie. He's really enjoying. Good, huh? And then when time comes, he said, 1 minute, huh? 1 minute, bosho. And then he will take his frame. By the time he was walking with a frame, একটা এরকম টান দিয়ে অক্সিজেনের কেবলটা পেঁচিয়ে গেল, and then is to sort of pulling the cable, and then he will start walking. And then a little later, if I go and see in the music room, he's playing. Okay, he's playing. and then he will play, he will do his, and then come back and join. But, he would never, I think it's we all want to practice, right? We all want to get better. But I think that's the blessing. Not everybody can practice all the time. I'll forget very easily, right? We forget very easily. We know we have to do, but things happen. But the ability to keep your mind absolutely focused. You're doing everything. But dhyan, gyan, everything is in one thing. And everything is happening around. He's part of everything. And discipline his walk. He would be walking around, as you know, with the dining table in the traveling. He will, his 40 odd minutes of walk, he never missed. And he would go in the airport if there is a flight, and they will check in before, so that at the airport he can walk, he can finish his walk. And even if it's a small area around the dining table, he will carry on walking. Like is incredible. He loved food, but never overate. We will end up overeating, and he will have little enjoying, and then we will end up eating and feeling sick about it. But discipline in all at all levels. It's not just discipline walk in, the whole thing. So it's a lot to learn, lot to feel inspired about. How courteous, Gaurav. One thing, then I knew that's how he was. I used to feel embarrassed, like you going somewhere, coming out of the lift or coming out of the car or at the theater door. He is opening the door and waiting for us to go. Any ladies. And you will feel so embarrassed. You'll quickly run because everybody, Pandit Ravi Shankar, and then he is opening the door for you. Okay. But it was not put on, because even in his house, in the lift door in Chanakapuri or he will always be jao, like before. He will not take over. He will not go ahead. He will always.
Any lady.
Like so it's not that only publicly or something. Like that was him, that was his nature. Like not forgetting the humanness. And one thing is, as we know, we can be doing lots of things, we could be achieving anything, but if it gets in our head, we had it. Okay, like his feet, where he reached somewhere or wherever, nobody, I don't think anybody will reach. But his feet were on the ground. Like even for not forgetting the kajal log khana khaya when the party is happening. Like jaja khao. Some people will not even notice, will not even feel it's important. So these are the human qualities, like when he played, when he is with his sitar, he's different. He's not the person we know. But when he was with us, and then it was, I was talking, I remember that his love for Bengali culture or Bengaliness was very, once Sukanya called when Guruji was, I just remembered Guruji was in the hospital, and
I want to hear this. Huh? I want to hear this.
So he was, she called, and talking very quietly. It was probably at night or early in the morning or something. She said, I'm calling you from the hospital, and this is in USA, from the hospital. And I want to make sure he knows that I told you this. That's why I'm calling from the hospital. That Guruji said, you have to teach Zubin Bengali. Okay. Imagine when somebody is very unwell in the hospital, to think Zubin should know Bengali. I mean, I failed profusely on that. I haven't taught Bengali. But to even think that Zubin should learn Bengali. So, and Sukanya called to say, Guruji said, you should teach Zubin Bengali. So great respect for the culture, great respect for, the background. It's really quite incredible.
Absolutely, and so many on so many different levels, as you say, so many different levels. It's what I'm getting from your talk is that you would go at one moment to Barbican or Royal Festival Hall and enjoy the greatness of his music and the godliness of that being that he is performing. And it's quite possible the next day he'll say that let's go to Brent Cross and I want to
Yeah.
go and buy a t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, because see, in Delhi, is it Shashwati Pujar Din? I want to go to Macher Bazaar. It's like then Sukanya now taking him is always like other people. He said, Nana, me jabo, like I want to. And then he's like, it's like when it's a fish market, obviously it's not a built-in market, it's wobbly road and path, and he is like wobbly, but he wanted to go to the like see all this Machet Bazare, what's happening. And
He told you also ki aajke kintu khichudi baniyo. So all those detailing was still intact from his childhood. He must have remembered his mother making, on a Saraswati Pujo. But জন্মদিন হলে সবসময় he would say আজকে পায়েস হবে. And as you remember, his meal would always be with a sweet and a roti. দইয়ের সাথে.
দই দিয়ে দইয়ের মধ্যে একটু জোরে একটু চিনি. So, like, when Sukanya met, like, while in the initial stage, Sukanya takes, when Guruji was eating, and then said, give me some dahi. And, being South Indian, dahi is like more important than probably rice, dahi. So Sukanya thought like, oh, he also likes dahi, okay? So she gave. And then he goes, somebody bought the gulab jamun, can you bring one and put it in the dahi? And so because they eat dahi chawal with achar or something savory, not sweet. And Bengalis will have tok doi, like a natural yogurt, will have to have some kind of mithai in it, She said, oh my God, I was just getting over impressed about his eating habits. And then suddenly he goes, gulab jamun kisi ne diya, usko lao, abhi usme dal diya.
गुलाब जामुन नहीं मिलेगा तो चीनी डाल देंगे उसमें.
हाँ, चीनी वो चुलबे. So really, he was very funny. I tell you. So I was thinking, like, then our conversation gone totally different. But however, there was a very naughty side of him, right? Because they're really funny and like. I'll tell you what happened on his 90th birthday. 90th, not 19th, okay? 90th birthday. There was a get together here in London. Sukanya organized, and then Sukanya had all the rituals and shloka and the pranam and arti and shloka, and then there was this the other Nandaji said a lot of shlokas and all these things. So I had cold a little bit, so I didn't go near because but then a little later I go, and he was sitting there, and I said, so yeah, you're looking very nice. And he goes, Are onek shloka shunechi. I had lots of shlokas. Ektu baje baje kotha bolo, like tell me some bad jokes, tell me some things. I had enough of all. I had enough of all the.
By the way, Chinnamma has asked me to remind you that some VHS cassette box. So
the VHS is outdated. So VHS cassette, it's like some people you talk about VHS, they will think the visa office in India, whatever VSS, whatever
That
is
is VFS. VFS.
VFS.
This is
So some
VH.
people will, well, they will not think VHS, they will say VFS. So VHS is not, it's gone.
Okay. So
Now, I wanted to also really, when you talk about the two things I want to talk about particularly, one is, it is Guruji's and Sukanya relationship.
yes.
Okay, like there are, every other person is married as a husband or a wife. Okay, but yeah,
Oh, this picture needs to be straightened. এটা সোজা করতে হবে। আর आदित्य थोड़ा बाद में दिखाना पिक्चर, थोड़ा बाद में दिखाना, अभी नहीं, अभी थोड़ा बोल ले दीदी, फिर जब बोलेंगे तब वो थोड़ा, हाँ हाँ, सॉरी।
so um so Sukanya, from obviously from childhood, worshipped this person, Pandit Ravi Shankar, whose music she grew up with. Okay, then, like, totally, it's not just I love this person, it's a combination of Shraddha, Bhakti, love, all this together in a very intense way. Intense, not just Shraddha Bhakti, like intense. And it was really, really, really unique, I think. Because I saw them from quite close, saw her quite close. So I knew how intense and how that intensity of your bhakti, shraddha, all this can be a power. Okay? Because intense of something, when you meditate on something, when you are intense, you are focused, it becomes power, right? So it was, I believe that Jom will never be able to take Guruji unless she agrees. She has to agree.
He has
Okay.
to take her permission.
He has to come and say, like, may I? Okay. Oh, it was Guruji's 75th or 80th, some birthday. I was in Delhi. And then so we go to a temple, and then Sukanya does some prayer, and then she comes out and she said, I know he will live till 93. Okay. I said, how do you know? She said, oh, I just know. Okay. So that's it. It was 20 years probably before when he passed away. So when I go, before he passed away, a few months before, and he was very unwell, and then I said, you said 93, so what? Then she goes, you remember, but it's 92, he is already 92. That means he is 93. And that's my fear. And then I realized, oh, that's true. And then he had his, as you know, he had his, that's operation, and operation went very well. And then Anushka was keeping us informed that Bapi is recovering, this, that. And so I traveled that day to India because Palu was getting married a few days later, and it was 10th of December 2012 when I traveled. And then I arrived on the 11th evening, and I wasn't well. I got some cold and so on. So I went to bed early. And the next morning, 12th, India 12th, early morning, I woke up because I was hungry and I needed to, because I didn't eat or anything. So I woke up, I made myself a cup of tea, I made myself toast. I sat upright to have that. And I vividly heard his voice saying, Ar parchi na jete dao. Okay, like I vividly, like as if somebody is saying, okay. So, and I said, what did I hear? Anyway, I'm probably thinking too much of the operation and all this. I went back to sleep. And 2-3 hours later, my phone was ringing, and then somehow I answered the phone, and my brother calls and says that Guruji passed away. And I was like stunned. I wanted to know what time, and their administrator, Kerry, the manager, called, and like, anyway, I didn't talk to Sukanya, but I just wanted to ask, did you agree? Did you say yes? So I was waiting for that. And 1 month later, exactly a month later, Sukanya called me in India. And she said, I know Rajiv is getting married and all that, but I'm not able to travel or any. And I said, that's all fine. I want to know, did you say go? And she said, yes, I did, because he was suffering. And this is amazing that I do, like when you think about it, when you are very intense and very connected and very focused, it becomes power. So that intensity gave that Shakti to her for him. That Shakti is not for anybody else. That Shakti was for him, and that is a reason, like, of course, he was well looked after, but whenever she was not ready until she was not ready, and then, so, it's like his presence, she felt many times. And there is one incident, I think she sent a video of that. We went to Azerbaijan.
Let's show that, Sujata di, let's show that video and then I want you to talk about it. Nabarun, Aditya, can we see that video? You were with Chinama in Azerbaijan. And let's see this video first. Okay, these are the pictures. Some pictures Chinama sent. And
This is Azerbaijan.
I didn't believe this was happening. Why am I here? I'm here not as me, but as a wife of a very noble musician. Raviji, as we affectionately call him.
Do you see that?
wow, the moment she takes his name. Tell us about it, Didi.
Oh my God. And this was, I think, the museum. This is a Grammy Museum. This is, I can't remember. The minute, all these funny pictures, where did she find this from?
Chinama took it out and sent it to me. So she said, please share this.
This, look at
This is a beautiful picture. I love this picture.
See, this Azerbaijan, it was a very funny trip. We both went for like all the way from London to Azerbaijan for some opening of something. And when Sukanya says, why am I here? My husband is this music for him. The minute he goes like, ooh, it's almost like he has come. It's like almost
The
he's
moment
just come
he takes his name.
Yeah, I take the name means like, yes, I am because of him and because I feel present. Something she said, whoosh, like presence, coming on stage, presence. It's amazing. And, he was so comfortably, he used to say something. I'll say, oh, I went to Thailand, or when I'm going to go to Cambodia, or I'm going to do this, that. And he will say, Acha, ami jawar por, when I'm gone, almost like saying, when I go to Delhi, you do this. So it's like, when I'm gone, can you please do with this with her? As if like, when I'm gone, can you please do that? It's like gone. It's like, oh, you know, when I go, it's not like that. You know, it's like when I go, can you play?
Matter of fact, and still he has a checklist. That's amazing. And you went with Chinama to Cambodia. You had a beautiful trip. That was amazing. Didi, if at this moment you allow me, there are some messages I would like to read. There are a lot of people who have joined. So if you just a lot of your students are there, of course, and so Nisha is there, Nabarun's wife. Then Pramiti Chaudhary from Allahabad, then Mithun Gill. Chinnama bolche, few days back I cooked and she ate with me. Today she cooked fish. So, Shri Porno Banerjee, Tulani Kayani, Skiff, Rajiv Banerjee, of course, Palu. I'll be over for dinner shortly. Shweta Shukla Bhatt, Vidya Patel, looking beautiful as always, Didi. Love listening to these special stories. Ambika Mohan Kucheria, looking lovely, Sujata Di. Pallavi Vijay, so lovely to hear you auntie, you are looking beautiful. Then Ambika Bolche, Sujata Di, it's your wonderful personality, your warmth and genuine nature that attracts people to you, the great and the ordinary. Then Subhalakshmi Mukherjee, Rajiv Banerjee, Kumar Acharya, Moshumi Banerjee, Damini V. Bhatt, Nainesh Mehta, Kumar Acharya, Pallavi Vijay, Vidya Patel, Chinnama Bolche. You have to tell about the video gift you gave as well. Well, that's outdated, as Sujatadi says. Okay, are you saying no or it's outdated? So Rajiv Chakraborty,
no, yeah, no.
Rajiv bhai তোমাকে legend বলছে, Sujata di, you are a legend. Pallavi Vijay is watching. Piali Boshu, Shreyashi Nag, I think from Spain, yes. Aran Mohan, Vidya Patel, Nisha Chatterjee, how sweet. Shreyashi Nag bolche, Didi, you are looking so beautiful and love listening to these stories. Thank you so much. Shreyashi Nag. Then Parvati, Rajamani, love, lots of love. Sujata, so interesting. Tapas Cynthia, Vijay Kumar Mahesh, so beautiful, Didi, you are looking so beautiful. Bah. চলো আমি শুরুতে ঠিকই বললাম তাহলে
Acha, I want to also, you know, I am nobody to talk about his music in a way. You know, when today is Gandhi Jayanti, and when Mahatma Gandhi in 48, he was shot 30th January or something, he passed away. The All India Radio director tells Guruji he was going to play. You know the story, Gaurav. And then say, play something about because Mahatma Gandhi has just been shot. Imagine he was at that time 27-year-old. 28-year-old. He created Mohan Kos, Gandhi. We talk about innovation, creativity. Just think about it at the spur of the moment to create a raga, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Mohan Kosh, and to use Gani Dha as the main scale to create a raga and go and play. Like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, as we all know, there are so many ragas just like that, to just drop it like that, even to think.
So many. Like,
So many.
I mean, some rags like Mohan Khan's came like that. There are rags which he first conceived the scale and worked for days and then gave a name like Bairagi or Nat Bhairav or Tilak Shyam and Charu Khans and you just name it. And there are also rags which he gave a swaroop to. So it's just amazing that and also that's why because whatever he composed sounded so genuine and so convincing that ওটা শুনলে as soon as you listen শুনে মনে হবে এটা তো পুরনো অনেক পুরনো melody but little did a lot of people realize that rag like Bairagi before 1949 didn't exist at all. Both the name and the scale and the swarup what Guruji gave,
Yeah.
and the bandish, the first bandish which many singers sang, Man Panchi Bavre, Sachi Suranagao Kapata Tan Chhad Atam Ko Rijhao. So he wrote the lyrics and he wrote the music of that, and it was printed in Hathras, the Sangeet Karyalay Sangeet magazine. So, and he
It's
was
just
hardly what,
amazing.
40, 29 years
Like
old.
this, yeah. And when you read his biography, um, like how much hardship he had, like sometimes you think like he hardly had his parents, right? Never. By the age of 10 the father passed away, and then mother. And how he made himself, like you can cry on it that my parents left me, or you can make something from it, right? And sheer hard work. And for so many years, like, I was telling Maharajji just before that we had a meeting, and I was saying, like, so, these legends, like, holding on to so many years. There is one very interesting thing, because when Oliver was writing his, the Indian Sun, the book, I did a lot of translation of the letters, because they were obviously private letters, and the letters which Annapurna ji wrote to Guruji, and how she addressed, and how much respect. And although it's not the letters Guruji wrote, but by the response, that what may have had happened, like, because she's answering to those. And what kind of dedication to the Guru, to the family, looking after so many people, like, by himself. He didn't have anybody to support in that way, but immediately he had to support a lot of people, and which is great. I mean, and always, as you know, Gaurav, like all the students, you all stayed in his house. He in the contrary, he gave you money. This is your pocket money, rather than Guru Dakshina.
He
It's like,
lived in the house, and he looked after us, and we learned, and we stayed for years in his home.
I mean, it's just it's the once I read some. He was reading Deshpatrika, and in that, it was soon after, when after his Bharat Ratna, and then Ashish Khan or somebody wrote, I can't remember. It was not a very good write up. It was really, saying lots of irrelevant things and lots of unnecessary things, and I got very angry. Like, I was telling Sukanya, how come you're not protesting? How come you're not doing anything about it? Because how come they're writing all these things in the Deshpatrika? Because, people read negativity, and that is the concept you have. I mean, of course, everybody has, nobody, we will always have certain side that somebody will read it differently. And Sukanya said, ask him why I'm not saying anything. And I kept on saying, why are you not allowing Sukanya to write something about it? And he goes, Gurur Poribar. So ami amar kono kotha bolbo na. So accepting, because it was the Guru's family telling something, that's fine, let them say. All my life, he says, all my life I had a lot of criticism. It's okay. I will carry on doing. I had a lot of criticism. But when, in a way, it doesn't matter, right? Because you do, and people will celebrate you, remember you for who you are, what you did. If you, all these things should not really matter. Like somebody said something, I'm going to fight. I'm going to call this, dekhiye debo ki hoyeche. Nothing like that. Let people say, let me carry on doing what I believe in. I mean, amazing qualities. These are the things probably to learn, to that how to respect, how to honor the guru and the guru's family, not to do rara rara, I'm doing this. Nobody even knew probably about this. That was his sentiment. He would never go and say like, I'm not doing this because this is what it is. But this sentiment would just come from heart, why it is that he's not protesting. So those values, there was a interview. I was in the US randomly in a hotel in Chicago because we were touring something, and I switched the TV on, and it was his interview coming. I can't remember who interviewed him. And this is only about 4 or 5 years back, like after Guruji passed away. And this interview was when he was 80. So they were just showing something. So this guy was asking, like, so now you are 80 and you achieved so many Grammys and so on, so on. How do you feel? So the question. And he's like thinking. And he goes, do you know, I have a lot of interest in books, in theater, in film, in different things. And I feel, I wish I hadn't. If I didn't do any of those, I could play sitar better. I could have, if I didn't go on the film, I had a lot of interest. So if this is 80-year-old, this is not talking when he's 30 or 40-year-old. He's, he's done by then, whatever, but saying that if I didn't do all these things, I would have played sitar little better. So it's like so constant, like, this is the blessings where if we can be blessed enough to be in presence of some of these great personalities, is I think what makes them great is not just he played the sitar like anything, but it's the whole package of it. That is what made him who he is. And that is to enjoy, that is to, wow, Suganduska. So, like whole thing, like enjoyment of it. He would come here, he would say, no, you are all talking and having fun. I'm not going to go in the bedroom and sleep. Just put a chadar on the sofa, I'll just sleep. And this is when he is like late 80s and so on. So that he can hear all other fun thing going on. So you have to appreciate, like what a great, and there's so much to talk about. His amazing interest in what others, how others are doing. Every time we would talk on the phone, he said, Ki dekle, anybody new you heard? Anything you've seen? And then I'll say, yes, I saw this, and amazing, when you come and I will invite this. And he will remember. And he will say, hey, bole chile je, that person, call that person, like Arun Ghosh, sax player here. And he remembered, and he said, বলেছিলে যে বাঙালি ছেলে কি sax বাজায় ডাকো. And then I texted Arun Ghosh. He said, is it the Pandit Ravi Shankar you're talking about? I said, yes. He said, I guess you are not joking. I am in somewhere France or somewhere. I'm leaving my job. I'm coming here. Something he's leaving and he's coming. And if it's a joke, I said, no, it's not a joke. He couldn't believe that Guruji wanted to listen to him. And I remember he knocked at the door, whatever time he was supposed to come, and I opened. He said, you're not joking, huh? Even coming to the house. And Guruji made that time to listen to him, like asking who is playing Bireshwar. It's like you have to arrange he then arranged for him in his house, in his, he was amazing artist. So every time he will ask what film you have seen, what, like the interest in things, like really interest in everything. Which artist you heard, what did they play, was it really good, was it this good? Oh, like really interest.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was so much. And that's why we are talking. Otherwise, if it was just music, we would listen to it. And that's it.
Yeah,
There wouldn't not be any, but there are so many different layers, so many different facets of him, so many different, and the impression he has left on all of us, the effect he has left on all of us, the inspiration he has left behind, and also that we still feel him around,
absolutely.
whenever we do anything.
Absolutely. In the house in here, it is all the time we feel like you can feel him, and it's exactly the way he would probably walk around in this place. AJ, ki khabor? It's like he would just walk with the hand like this at the back holding, and he'll just come. It's like and some jokes and some ki shunle, anything new, any jokes. So like really interested in life and interested in things, interested in everything. And that is, to me, is most attractive. If he only played the sitar very well, yeah, he plays sitar very well.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's like,
Didi, there are some more messages. So, because Chinnama is saying, talk about the Lahore kebab house. I had to sit in the car when you all went and ate because I had Suki with me. So, yeah, that is something. Lahore kebab I want to hear.
we went because you know how much Rajiv likes the Lahore kebab, and he sold it to us very well. We all went. Guruji, yeah, and we all went, and because they wouldn't allow Suki, so Sukanya was sitting in the car, and then we ate, and the plan was that then Shukti will eat quickly, and then Shukti will sit back in the car, and Sukanya will come. So by then, probably she didn't come, or the other way around, can't remember. So very funny. He wanted to pay, obviously, he had a card, like his credit card. He paid. He said, because Sukanya wasn't there, so he used the credit card, and now you have to put the tips, right? Because tips you cannot put
On
on
the car.
card. So on the card. So so Rajiv, she said, no, I'm putting it. Okay, so it's okay, I put it. So he put whatever 10 pounds or whatever he puts the tip, and then as soon as we arrive home, we enter. He goes, hey, what was that tip? Telling Sukanya, just pay him that, please. So I said, no. Rajiv also saying, no. So Sukanya said, he said, no, you have to take. Otherwise, আমি বমি করে দেবো যে খাওয়াটা. Sometimes you tell people, if you don't take this, I'm going to return this. So he has already eaten. So how can he return that? So I'm going to take it out. If you don't take the money, bumi kore debo. It's like, I don't. So it's like really funny. Once we went to San Diego Philharmonic, some nice big place, and Anushka was playing with the Philharmonic Orchestra or something. And then Sukanya went before to look after Anushka. She was much younger. And then I was Sheila and Prem. Do you remember them, Sheila?
Yes, of course.
So with them, they came and picked us up, and Guruji and then Guruji, and then he said, bathroom jete hobe, like he would find out. So I'm like taking and showing, and then again interval. So he goes like bathroom. So he goes, and then obviously I show, and then I come back, and then very funny. So and then when we come, so we are about to go in our seats, and I was inside Sukanya and then Guruji. So I couldn't go. I was waiting because he was standing by there. And this guy comes. Do you know, it's amazing. I remember this guy's name. I'm not going to say that. Or should I say that? I remember this is 98. I'm talking about 98 or 99. So anyway, this guy comes and he's a tall guy and he's standing there and he's looking at Guruji like this. And then, I said, like as if he knows him. Okay. So I go like, do you know, because he's like wanting to talk. I said, do you know him? Want to talk? And then because Guruji was talking to somebody and he goes, no, I don't know him. I'm checking because in the male toilet, he was standing next to me. You understand? You get it? So, so he was standing in the toilet next to him. Just imagine this poor guy standing there and then seeing Pandit Ravi Shankar standing next to him. So I thought Guruji is going to really love this thing, okay? Because, and this guy is very tall. And so when he finished his conversation with other people, and I said, this person wants to talk. He was like, and because this person is quite tall. And then I said, he was standing next to you in the toilet, okay? And he just goes and he says, you are very tall. I wonder what you saw. he was instant, you know, it's like looking at him. He's like,
That guy must have sunk in the ground, you know.
he's he was just incredible. And this is again not like when he's, you know, 30s, 40s or whatever, you know, that sense of humor, that enjoyment, that, you know, like interest in everything. And that is something I just feel it's just extraordinary that
It was there, absolutely, it was there till the very end, you know.
all the
It
time.
was absolutely all the time, all the time.
Chalo, what time is it?
Full stories and
So many stories.
past 11
so many.
here. So many stories, really, really, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I can see the dusk of London behind you. Beautiful evening sky. Just love that.
Because it was raining a lot today. Like in the morning, 7:30, it seemed like 4 a.m. It was so dark. So, but now the rain has gone. I can see the.
Love the London sky in the night. It's so blue and beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
So blue and beautiful. How many days did you see blue and beautiful London sky? We do see it, but not as often as you would like to.
I appreciate it. Whenever I have seen it, I just love it. That it's wonderful. So thank you, Didi. You take care of yourself. Stay safe.
You too.
Okay, so now the session ends today. Lively session with Sujata Di and Gaurav Da. So we come to the end of our show today, 54th episode of Pandit Ravi Shankar's Reflections, celebrating his 100th birthday. Thank you, Didi, for being with us, and Gaurav Da, as usual.
Thank you for inviting me, Sukanya, Nabarun, Gaurav. It has been a pleasure to talk. We talk about Guruji all the time. Like
All the time.
every day there would be something all the time.
So Didi, now next time when you are coming to India, Gaurav Da promise for that Lucknow kebab, which we were not able to eat.
Lahore kebab.
Lahore
No,
kebab.
Lucknowi kebab also, na?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
So, Didi from India, good night.
Thank you, Nabarun. Thank you.
Gaurav
Good
da,
night. Thank
and to
you.
the viewers
You're
of
doing a great job now, Varun.
your blessings.
Both of you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
And to
Thank
the
you.
viewers of Pandit Ravi Shankar Music Foundation, tomorrow at 8 p.m. sharp, we will be once again here. Another eminent personality who will be sharing his memories of Pandit Ravi Shankar ji. Till then, good night and be safe. Good night to everybody.